Hello, and welcome to the Paratus Digital Health Hub powered by Matters information session around non-dilutive funding opportunities. My name is Gina Konstantakopoulos, and I'm the VP of Strategy and Innovation here at Matter, and I lead our Paratus initiative. Olivia Phillips is my colleague, also helping to run this program. She's here in the background and will be looking at the questions coming in from you, the team. A quick overview around what we'll cover off today. First, we'll talk a little bit about who Matter is. Then we'll talk a little bit about the Paratus Initiative. We'll drill into this new non-dilutive funding program, provide you an overview of the opportunity and details around applications, and we'll retain some time at the end of today's session for questions. Quick housekeeping note while we are on that. This is actually set up as a webinar, so you are unable to come off mute and answer your questions. You can see on the bottom portion of your screen a Q&A feature where you are able to submit questions. We will do our best to answer questions throughout that are woven in that question period. If there are questions that we don't get to, we will emphasize a few times throughout this program, but we do have office hours set up for people to ask specific individual questions or questions that maybe they didn't get enough information about during today's session. A quick note, we are going to drop into the chat here two links. The first link is just a reminder of the landing page around this non-dilutive funding opportunity. And the second is the link to our office hour sessions. Should you want to set up time with us, we will drop these again at the end of today's session. So with that, I'd love to tell you just a little bit about Matter. Matter's a healthcare incubator and innovation hub. We are in Chicago. We were founded in 2015, and since that time, we've worked with over 1,000 companies to help them really scale their businesses. We are healthcare centered, but really are stage, solution, and disease stage agnostic, and are really kind of centered in the belief that collaboration is the fastest and most effective way to accelerate innovation, advance care, and improve lives. As part of this, we do three things. We incubate startups. We are a community nexus and hosts events, both public, private, throughout the year. You can find those in our event sections. And then we work with established organizations on corporate innovation. Those are health systems, payers, et cetera, that are looking to innovate more efficiently. And this actually includes the government as well, and the BARDA program that we'll step into. Since 2015, we've, as I said, worked with over 1,000 startups who have gone on to raise more than 5.3 billion in capital. We've worked with over 140 leading industry organizations, again, across kind of the various areas of healthcare. And we've worked with over 60,000 community healthcare entrepreneurs and innovators. Our portfolio has an emphasis on digital health, though we certainly work with folks in life sciences, services, and other areas. Important to note that I think the definitions of what companies are changing rapidly, and so you may be part device, part digital health, you may be a machine learning technology. We are really open to hearing from everyone. And we work with a kind of broad distribution of partners. We are global in scope. So looking backwards, we are in about 117 cities and certainly countries distributed throughout the globe. And we are very much a global network. Here are some of the folks that we've historically worked with. Again, just showing that distribution across the components of the healthcare ecosystem. And we're really proud of that work that we've done. I want to kind of shift to tell you a little bit about Paratus. So Matter's really proud to be part of the BARDA Accelerator Network 2.0. To start off with, for those of you who aren't familiar, BARDA sits within Health and Human Services under the Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Readiness. BARDA stands for the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority. And essentially, they are the entity within the government that is providing integrated uh, kind of novel approaches to vaccines, drug therapies, diagnostics for public health medical counter emergencies. So what is that? What do those things include? Those are things like chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear incidents and attacks, pandemic influenza, and emerging infectious disease. For more information around kind of that purview, I encourage you to visit the BARDA site. They have an amazing landing page that can tell you about their work, their priorities in current initiatives. Coming out of the COVID pandemic, they recognized the real significance of innovators working in healthcare being able to rapidly address problems throughout the healthcare ecosystem in one of these kind of emergencies, and sought to activate best-in-class organizations that are working in specific areas of healthcare. And that's the genesis for the BARDA Accelerator Network 2.0. There are 5 entities that are part of the Accelerator Network, each with a specific purview and mandate. I Create, which is part of University Lab Partners, does diagnostics and medical devices. Matter, which is the Paratus Hub, is focused on digital health. Bio2 Innovators, the home of Vanguard, looks at enabling technologies. Spark out of Children's National Hospital in DC is focused on the pediatric population, and Vital is focused on therapeutics. Each one of our colleagues in the BARDA Accelerator Network has ongoing opportunities. And again, the BARDA team has done a great job of consolidating all open opportunities across the hubs. And we will drop a link in a little bit here to encourage you to check out kind of the wide array of opportunities currently available. Part of our work with Paratus is we do a few things. So we run accelerators, we do these non-dilutive funded studies, and we also provide ad hoc support. For those of you wondering where the name Paratus came from, it's Latin for ready for anything, and really is a great indicator of our digital health preparedness stance. There's a few opportunities that we currently have open. I want to just quickly make mention of these. We actually just closed applications for our Accelerator Cohort 3. Those closed over this past weekend. That said, one of the application questions that you'll see for our non-dilutive funding opportunities is if people are interested in participating in the Accelerator. I really encourage you to think about that. It's a 10-week program where you're surrounded with curriculum and mentorship opportunities, and is a really great way to just get more feedback around your solution, especially if you are pivoting into a medical countermeasures space. While the cohort 3 is closed, we will be running a cohort 4 in mid 26 and anticipate really pulling in a lot of great companies. So if that is something of interest, please let us know as well. The 2 other opportunities are the current non-dilutive funding program, which we're going to talk about in great detail in a bit here. And then a secondary opportunity around traumatic brain injury assessment as a result of nuclear blast. Details, again, can be found on the Matter and Paratus pages around this opportunity, and we'll go from there. So talking a little bit about our non-dilutive funding, I want to first just step into what this year's focus area is. So we're looking at proof of concept studies that support the development, evaluation, and validation of wearable biosensors for medical countermeasures, really focused on detection or monitoring of emerging infectious disease within the BARDA mission space. Again, I know this is sort of a kind of a multifaceted ask, but I think best way to really step into this is to look at some of the technologies of interest that we've indicated. So I want to take a little bit of time here to unpack this. As you are looking at this list as a potential applicant, I encourage you to kind of figure out, where might you fall? Perhaps it's a couple of these areas, and also to encourage you again to set time with us via our office hours if you have specific questions. So some of those technologies of interest include wearable and minimally invasive biosensing technologies, edge analytics, signal fusion, and anomaly detection capabilities, interoperable and secure data integration platforms, discovery, validation, and application of digital biomarkers and predictive models, and then resilient deployment platforms for large-scale wearable monitoring. So, how can we take existing things in the ecosystems and really do rapid provisioning? Again, I invite you to spend a little bit of additional time digging into kind of each of these areas to make assessments around your suitability. Let's talk now a little bit about what the submission process looks like. So preliminary applications are currently open. Again, go to the matter.health website. You can find it on the landing page, and that preliminary application is open to through January 15th of next year. From that pool of candidates, we will essentially down select to a smaller group and invite a portion of the applicants to complete a secondary application. That secondary application will be much more detailed. So the first application, we ask for a 2,000-word abstract around the type of project that you would like to do. The secondary application that we'll be looking at in February of 2026 is much more detailed. It includes milestone charts, it includes budgets, and it really includes much more well-defined kind of KPIs around what you're hoping to accomplish as a byproduct of the project. If you are selected to move into that secondary application phase, we will do additional sessions like this to tell you about the requirements, the formats, etc. So no need to get ahead of ourselves just yet, but know that Matter and our team here is with you along each step to ensure that you are able to craft your responses in the most efficient way possible. We're looking to then determine companies that we'd like to work with in mid-year next year, so looking at June 26th, and then negotiating contracts with the non-dilutive funding awards starting in summer of 2026, and then moving beyond that. So that's a little about the top line application process. So let's talk a little bit about what it is that you can apply for. So again, this is milestone-based funding between $50,000 and $200,000 projects. And we're looking for these to be somewhat discrete, so from around 6 to 12 weeks in their footprint. And a little bit of kind of additional guidance around some of the things that these projects can include. So it can help you to advance technologies currently in development to a next value or inflection point. We can help you engage study sites to complete some of this validation work. Looking at increasing access or reducing costs for deployment, and also kind of platform development. Again, this is, I know, a top line and high level list. If you have particular questions around concepts that you are considering, again, we're happy to have a discussion. Moving along, selection criteria. A lot of people want to know, how do we pick the companies that move forward? So here are a few things that we consider. So your ability to articulate the problem that you're solving, demonstration of your solution's quality, feasibility, and scalability, how you're different from what's currently in the marketplace, the capability of your team and advisors. And I think really central to all this is fit to BARDA's mission. So if we go back to those technologies of interest, I really encourage you in your applications to think about how you can articulate what you're doing and how that's a real fit to the interest areas of BARDA, and ensure that you're making that connection very clear. One other area that we want to just touch on is part of the resources that Paratus brings to the program is site study matching. So working with health systems or other established partners to help you on a project. We have a great established group of partners that will work with startups within the program to help complete studies. So we're able to tap them and identify potential partnerships for you to do work with. We can help with that matchmaking and that scoping. The cost for those collaborations is incorporated into that total footprint of up to 200K. And again, if you have questions around this or interest, there is a question on the application around whether you are interested in a study site match. And certainly if you have specific questions, again, reach out to us. So who should apply? A couple of notes. This program is conducted virtually, so you don't need to be located, in Chicago or, in any one particular area. We are looking at a global call of solutions from across the innovation ecosystem. That said, we always love folks that have established proof of concept, existing data, or evidence of product market fit, traction, etc. And really, we're open to a wide range of users, so entrepreneurs who are coming out of university, backed research or academic kind of work, folks that are already working in other adjacent areas to respond to health security threats. One last note here, as I said, and I'll have my colleague Olivia drop our office hours link in here. If you have questions around the suitability of your solution or the work that you're interested in doing, we do have the office hours available and are happy to talk on an individual basis. With that, I think we have about 10 minutes left for questions. So I'm going to go ahead and look at our questions here and see what we've got.
Yeah, hi. I was wondering about like the application I submitted like last week. So I don't know if this is different from that, or it could be a continuation to that, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, when I talked about existing uh, opportunities, we have a couple of applications currently open. So, we have the application for the accelerator, which again closed this last weekend. We have the application for this non-dilutive funding projects opportunity centered around kind of wearable sensing technology. And then we have another one around traumatic brain injury. So there are three distinct applications. I am happy on the back end, Manju, to take a look to see maybe where you have submitted, if there's any confusion there, and we can certainly circle back. But they are kind of three distinct opportunities.
Okay, so could I apply to both?
Yes, absolutely. If you had applied to the accelerator, you are absolutely welcome to apply to this non-dilutive funding project as well. We certainly have had a number of companies that have been in the accelerator and then moved on to the non-dilutive funding project. So that is absolutely a pathway.
Okay, thank you so much. Because I have all these ideas. I just needed like sites to be able to collaborate with actually.
Great. If you have specific questions around your solution or opportunities, we're happy to, as I said, address those via an office hours session.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Terrific. All right. Do we have additional questions?
I see a question that asks, how many applications will be invited to apply to the full proposal, and how many do you anticipate to fund?
That's a great question. It's a little bit dependent on, that it's always difficult to know how many applications that we get. Um, Last year, we got over 100 non-dilutive funding applications, and I think we asked 16 people to move into the secondary applications, of which 6 projects were funded. So that gives you maybe an idea. Certainly, that the thing that is most central to this, though, is not the number of the applicant pool, but the fit and the feasibility of the solution. So going back to that fit to the BARDA's mission space and how you align to the areas of interest, I think that's probably the most central thing to consider as you are doing the application. And then as far as kind of the secondary applications are concerned, we definitely do a down selection, but we're always interested in having a variety of different types of solutions. So as you saw in the areas of interest, I think we have 5 different kind of areas. They're quite different from each other. So we're always interested in getting different ideas. One other thing I'll say is that on the main Paratus page at Matter, and I might ask Olivia to look for that and drop it, we actually have another opportunity that if you have heard what we've said today and say, I have a solution, but it doesn't quite match the areas of interest that you've indicated, but I really do feel like this could be something that would help in a public health emergency. We do have another sort of catch-all area where we are able to collect solutions that are relevant but not necessarily an immediate fit to a program ask. And that's something we're very much open to as well. So again, encourage you to ask the questions and introduce yourselves to us. All right. We have a couple, thank you, Olivia, for dropping that. We have a couple things in the chat. Again, I encourage you to look at those links. Any other questions?
Yes. So the next question asks, is this specific to wearable technology? What if the solution allows monitoring the environment for pathogens?
So I would say that the wearable technology or biosensors is sort of the initial kind of framework around this, but you'll see that there are things like platform or algorithm analysis, back in more sort of data analytics approaches to some of this. As far as sort of the environmental kind of assessment, I'm not sure that that would be 100% of a fit, but it sounds like there might be some more specific or particular elements for that solution. Again, I encourage you to, set up a call. Let us have a conversation to better understand the work that you're doing and its relevance. Ultimately, you all get to make the call about whether you're suitable or not. So we just really encourage you to visit the landing page, step through it, and have a conversation.
Thank you. So the next question is, do you have a list of your partners that is available to applicants?
So that's a great question. We do not share the list in part because the way the matching works is not every site is interested in every study. And so we're not able to say, okay, this is your preference on where you'd like to work. We're really looking across a network of opportunities to find where there's aligned timeline, aligned expertise, and aligned interest from an organization. So we don't share that in advance.
Thank you. And then the next question we have asked, when a proposal includes mechanisms to ensure the authenticity and reliability of real-world behavioral or biometric data, how is that typically evaluated? Is it considered part of a technical merit, risk mitigation, or both?
Olivia, that's a little bit of a complicated question. Could you read it through for me one more time?
Yes, and we might be able to also answer this in office hours. So it asks, when a proposal includes mechanisms to ensure the authenticity and reliability of real world behavioral or biometric data, how is that typically evaluated? Is it considered part of technical merit, risk mitigation, or both?
Yeah. again, I think for the person asking this question, I encourage you to book some office hours. I'd love to dig into the next level, but I would say in general both. We are very interested in understanding both the technical merits and risk mitigation of your solution. Some of that might be based on existing work, and some of that might be based on stuff that you're hoping to accomplish in the project that you're proposing. We are very much kind of a scientific group and want to see some data, but also understand that products are always evolving, approaches are evolving. So again, we welcome that conversation.
And then we have one final question. Are these fire and forget applications, or is there an opportunity to revise and resubmit the proposal based on reviewer input?
That's a great question. When you submit the proposal, like we don't really offer the opportunity to revise it. That said, um, if you have questions or if you're seeking input, the Paratus team regularly works with founders to help them understand, like if a question is ambiguous to you or you're not quite sure how to approach it. That's exactly what we're here for, is to help ensure that you are crafting the strongest response possible for your solution. So again, welcome questions either via our email, which is paratus@matter.health, or via office hours to help answer any of those outstanding questions to ensure that when you do submit, you feel confident with what you're putting forward. Okay, well, it sounds like that's the last question. Thank you all for joining us. Again, we are so grateful to the BARDA team for their collaboration and partnership. So I know some of those folks are on the line. Thank you for joining us. And for all the innovators out there, we hope that this provided a little bit more information around the opportunity. Again, we really welcome your outreach to us around questions or particular areas of interest, and are happy to talk to you. So with that, thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you again soon.